What's going on, everybody? Brian the Leafs guy here. I got a huge trade proposal between Toronto Maple Leafs and Philadelphia Flyers that I think could potentially work for both teams. I know Philadelphia is currently in a playoff spot, but I know they're still kind of in that rebuild mode. So we'll see if they sell. This depends on if they sell or not. But I wanted to go over the trade proposal, and you guys can let me know in the comments below if I'm crazy or not. I made a video last week about the Sandin trade that happened last year and my thoughts on it. And that video has almost 1,000 views on it right now. This is a brand new channel, so I feel very blessed. Drop a like, drop a subscribe if you're enjoying this, but I feel super honored and blessed. I will post that video at the end of this video, so you stick around, you can see that Sandin one as well. But let's get into this. My proposal is with Philadelphia and Toronto. Scott Laughton, he's a amazing, bottom six center winger. Very good. He would help out. He's just super competitive as well. He would help out our bottom six. He's signed for 2 more years after this, so 3 years total. Half retained, so 50%. So he's at 1.5 mil cap hit. Nick Seeler, who's a really good defensive defenseman, lefty. He's having a tremendous few years, actually. But just really good, like number 6 or 7 guy, just really good defensive. And Sean Walker, half retained. Both he and Sealers would be pure rentals. They aren't signed, but Walker's having a really good year. He's a right shot. He's a good puck-moving defenseman, and he's having a really good year with Philadelphia so far, and a third-round pick. So Scott Laughton retained for 3 years, Nick Seeler and Sean Walker retained this year, and a third-round pick coming to Toronto. Philadelphia. So this was my original proposal. I made a second one. This is steep. First-round pick this year, Topi Niemela, who's our best defensive prospect, and Fraser Minten. And Fraser Minten's the one that really hurts me here. I see Fraser Minten, his potential as being a Scott Laughton or a Boone Jenner. Boone Jenner would kind of be a ceiling, like a potential captain, really good, third line center, potential, second line left winger if necessary, can kind of go up and down the lineup, really smart, really good defensively. So this trade is basically we need that player now. We need, that Scott Laughton or Boone Jenner type of player right now. So it's kind of trading away the future for the now, but we would have Scott Laughton through his prime. He's 29 years old for the next 2 years. So 2 years after this as well, at a really small cap hit. So this was the original trade proposal. The next one gets rid of Fraser Minten. So this was my original trade proposal. I know Scott Laughton, if he was retained, he would be a first plus something. Sealers is about a third. I know Walker's probably about a second. We get a third-round pick. It's kind of hard to see, but I know Topi Niemela would get a little bit done in here. Fraser Minten would be a huge piece for Philadelphia. They would probably have to accept this, I think. Now, as for the Leafs, when I look at this, their top 8D looks so good. You got Morgan Rielly, Brody, great pair. McCabe, good physical defensive defenseman. Sean Walker, who's putting up some good points right now, who's moving the puck really well. Giordano and Liljegren, that would be a good solid pair. And then you have Sealers, defensive defenseman, with Timmins, who has that offense. So really good top 8. And then we would have Benoit and Lagesson in the minors in this scenario. Also, our forward group is really good right now. People are like, well, we don't need depth. They're so good. But it's a Scott Laughton type would be so great. Because, let's say if a John Tavares and a Domi get hurt, our center depth would take a huge beating. And having a guy like Laughton would make a huge difference. So in this scenario, Reeves, I've scratched Reeves. It's a 23-man roster. We are cap compliant. So I did put Laughton on a fourth line here because I didn't want to break up the first 3, but he could be anywhere between a first or second line winger, kind of in that same type of role that, let's say, a Nyes is playing or the Domi was playing, or he could be that third line center, third line winger. It really doesn't matter. He can move anywhere. I put him as the fourth line center or fourth line winger because why not? It just shows how strong our depth is here. But this team would be phenomenal. This would be all the changes that we need going into the deadline. It's the one trade to rule them all. Down the center, you got Matthews, Faros, Domi, Kampf. You know, you have Nylander who could play center if we really need to. We got Yarncroke who can play center if we really need to. We got Lutton if we really need to. You know, because like in the scenario right now, if Domi gets hurt, who are we calling? We're gonna have to call up like Holmberg. You know, I'd much rather have Lutton than Holmberg in that position. So this would just really give us some good offense for a few years, like because Lutton would be there for a few years, and then it would also just boost our defense. The second proposal was the same concept, but I was like, how do I take Fraser Minton out of there? So I took Minton out, and I took out the third round pick. So I took the third round pick coming out from to Toronto. So there was a third round pick originally that Philadelphia was sending to Toronto. I took that one out. So I added a third, added a fifth, added Alex Steeves. And Alex Steeves is 23 years old. He's having a great year in the minors. He's NHL ready. You know, his value wouldn't be crazy. So that's kind of what I did. I removed a third coming from Toronto. I removed Minton going to Philadelphia. I added a fifth round pick, a third round pick, and Alex Steeves. So ultimately it was Scott Lutton, 50% retention, Nick Sealers, who has a really low cap hit, he's league minimum, and then Walker at half retained for this year. For Topi Niemela, really good right D prospect, really good puck moving defenseman. Alex Steeves, who should be NHL ready, but you never know how these guys will play out. But he would have some value, nothing too crazy. A first round pick, a fifth, and a third. If we could get this, especially the second trade proposal, I think our team would look so good going into the playoffs. And this is all we would really need to do, to be honest. We would still, we get another right shot. We get a really good defensive defenseman. We get a really good forward. I really like this. So please tell me your thoughts down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? If you're a Philadelphia fan, do you like it? Do you hate it? If you're a Toronto fan, do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think I'm crazy? Either way, I really appreciate everybody here watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. New channel, I'm trying to get this thing going. But you should watch this video right here. I can't even do it. Right there. That video right there. It should be the Sandin trade. Watch that video next. I really appreciate you. Much love. I'll see you soon.